There's like 4 or 5 billion ways. I think that's the exact number I counted. 4 or 5 billion ways you could make a miniature fire escape. But I'm going to show you one way. This is probably the most accessible and simple way, especially for beginners, to get into the groove of starting. I mean, wood, popsicle sticks, balsa wood, bamboo skewers, and cardboard, and maybe a little bit of plastic. But I just want to show you guys how you can create a really nice looking detail piece with very basic things. Like all things, we'll probably just make it up as I go here, and we'll figure it out. And I've got some stiff cardboard. We're gonna see what we can do with just this simple wood stuff, wood glue, cardboard, and super glue. So I've got this packaging here. It's pretty thick cardboard that I can, I know it's going to sound funny, but I can impregnate with super glue and make it bond really well to these wood pieces with super glue. Okay, my table is a mess, by the way, today, guys, so forgive me. We're going to have our rungs and our bottom rail thing, our platform, and then possibly we could either do a brace or like a brace here. Sometimes you see braces like this here. So we basically got a U shape, or we've got a platform or U shape with rungs on it, and then we've got a frame that's got vertical lines on it. So what I was saying is if we go about 8 inches, and you convert as you need to do metric. Sorry guys, I know everything I'm doing is in the imperial or whatever. So 8 inches, and then here we're gonna go 4 inches. Normally you would have, like, this is the top railing right here, and this is the back wall right here. You're gonna have an opening that will allow for stair access to go down, right? Or like a ladder to climb down. So we need to consider our action, if we want our action figure to actually fit in this hole, we need the hole to be big enough for like a human in 1/12 scale. So we need the hole to be probably, you know, 2.5 to 3 inches wide, and then deep we're probably going to need a good 1.25 to 1.5 inches. So I'm doing this because that's going to help inform how far out we want the fire escape in total. I'm thinking I'm going to do maybe 2 U shapes like this, and then build, when I say skirt, I mean like a, this is a break line, by the way, that you'd use in drafting to denote that this continues on. This is a break line. It's like that. So if you have a wall that ends here, this is just to denote that that's not the stop, it continues. So I drew a little break line. It's because I'm like zooming in just on this section here. I'm going to do a skirt below it. So if I imagine that there's like a center line here, I'm going to glue like a section here underneath, so that there's like an edge for me to abut pieces to on the backside for my railing. I think this is probably the way forward with these materials, but I might discover along the way that it doesn't make any sense, or that it was a bad idea, and we'll start another way. But this is how we art. And again, I like making stuff out of scrap just so that people can see you don't have to go buy expensive materials. You can just literally use things around the house out of cardboard. Parts of them were cardboard, and they look great. You know, for the filming models that had to have some strength to them, they used mostly styrenes and plastics. But you can use poster board as a thin layer over material to add detail too, and that works great on plastics. So yeah, okay. So let's see if I can cut out my 8 by 3.5 inches. Do I even have 8 inches? Actually, I might have to get a different piece of cardboard now that I think about this. Oh yeah, I got 8 inches. Okay, draw my pencil mark across there. Excuse me. Mark. Okay. Fire escape. I know, I think Finding Nemo ruined the word escape for every American because Dory decided to mispronounce the word escape on escape hatch as escape. It sounds kind of Spanish, but it's not. There we don't go. There we go. Okay. There's one of our U-shapes. There we go. Okay. Doot. Okay. 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 I'm saying okay a lot. Okay, so now... So what I was saying earlier, my sketch. So here's our cutout. And we're gonna do a skirt, like I said. So that's gonna go along the center line here. So I'm gonna put it on the bottom here because I'm gonna use the shiny side up since it looks most like metal as it is. It's flat and smooth. I'm gonna do the cardboard texture side down to hide it. But what I do need to do, I said do. What I do need to do is draw a line on here as a reference point for my own brain in the same spot so that I have consistency. Look at that messy floor. Don't tell my wife. There we go. Look at all this wood. Okay. So see these big old craft sticks? These are great. I like these because they're already pre-trimmed into different widths and they're easy to break down with a knife. Even scissors can cut some of these. So, yeah. Okay, so this is a plastic stick, meaning if it's a denser piece of wood, so like less cheap wood, less cheap wood, it will cut just fine with scissors. Otherwise, you can just keep going with a knife like I just did there. But if you create a score line like that, you can even use cheapo scissors, and usually it'll just cut just fine, like that. Boom. I switched knives. I got to the medium one. Breadth of this, it doesn't want to cooperate, but this one looks like it's going to. Boom. Look at that. And this blade is sharp. Okay. I'm just pushing lightly. If I push hard, it could just break along the grain. So I can even feel it wanting to, but just keep going. Here we go. It's working. Boom. There we go. There's a little burr right there, but now it's gone. Here's my 7 5/8 inch skirt. Let me move you guys back to the center here. Okay, so I'm just gonna run some glue along the inside edge of my pencil mark. And then I'm not gonna stop squeezing here, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and do it on the side here as well, all that I have it out. Yes. Oops, that's okay. Whoops. See what I mean? My hands are already wobbling. Just gonna wipe that off. Okay, so we got glue on this side. Let me recap that. And I'm just going to align it with my mark for my skirt and press it into place. Oops, that is not lined up. I shifted it. That's okay. I shrewded it. I'm gonna wait a few seconds because I just dabbed some of that glue onto this surface, and then I'm gonna place it. And believe me, it does make a difference. It usually helps it cure faster. I mean, I would encourage you to test it out if you don't believe me either. I'm just gonna hold this in place for 10-15 seconds, make sure it's not gonna fall out of place. We're going to do that on this side. I'm gonna dab this onto here. And wait a second. A little too much glue leaking out there. That's okay. All right. See if this one cooperates as well. Okay. There is the beginnings of a good fire escape. So here is so this is what I was going to do, is have this is the bottom and this is the top, right? And then we can build from there. So we can, if we have this upper skirt here, we can just glue our dowel rods straight to the back, right? And then from the front, it will look like they're welded in, you know, all along the way, and we won't have to worry about trying to drill holes in anything. And mark every 1/2 inch so that I have a reference on my piece. We're gonna stop right there. Yeah, because that's where the wall is, right there. Our wall is gonna be right there. Basically, I need to cut all these at 4 inches, and how many do I need? I should count. That's what I need to do. I need to count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 28 popsicle kebabs. 28 wooden round thingies. 28 extended thin diameter or small diameter dowels, or whatever. And mark that. So you could do it with heavy duty pliers. Look at that. So you get a weird little shaped tip, but if the tip is not going to be visible, like on this side, we're going to be gluing it in here. That side's never going to be visible, and you're going to glue that side down. So you have one clean side and one dirty side, right? Here's your clean side, here's your dirty side. So you can just use pliers on these. And then I'm going to stack some spacers over here. I'm going to do this, actually. And I'm going to put some weight on this. Like that. That's enough. I just need it to hold this in place while the glue dries. I had to create a little jig out of random stuff just because I have this weird shaped piece here. So we will do this and place this into its final resting spot and line this up there. And again, for time's sake, I'm just going to use some accelerator and just wait a sec, let it cure. Whatever you say, Star Marvel. That's funny. Joiler. There we go. Not even going to touch it because that is perfectly level. Shoot some. I need a. You can get a little tube extension to put on these. Like you can just. I think I saw somebody use a pen, a tube from a ballpoint pen once. I keep forgetting to do that. So it doesn't just go everywhere. Like you can actually target the spray into one spot. Okay, so that should be nice and level. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Looking pretty good. It's a little tilty, but that's the cardboard. So when I glue it in place, it should be nice and stable. Moving this process right along, we just repeated what you saw me do all the way around the top skirt, and then we joined it to the bottom directly using super glue the same way, and just held everything in place with little jigs and stabilized it while it dried. It took about 20-25 minutes to do this. Now you're seeing the trimmed down version of this build for this fire escape. If you'd like to see the entire thing with my full commentary on why I'm doing and not doing certain things and talking about optional things that you could do, check out OW Art Live number 34 from my live stream playlist. That's where I go into a lot more detail, and you can see this whole thing in real time. I think that entire video is about 2 hours and 44 minutes long. So just to give you an idea of how much more information is there for you. And that's why I do those lives, so you guys can see it in real time. But for those of you that don't have 2 hours and 44 minutes to listen to me ramble on and on and on, this is still the quick version, and most of you can probably build something just like this using this information. But if you've watched this long and you're still enjoying it, please hit that like and subscribe and check out future live streams and stick around to see future skill videos just like this one. I appreciate your support. A dollop of glue. And we're going to flip it up. And use some accelerando, the musical term. And wipe up our chemical mess. A little bit of foam got glued to this one, but that's okay. When that's dry, I can just sand it off. Boom, look at that. So there's our base for our fire escape. See, look how strong that is now that everything's glued on there. I'm just flopping this around and it's fine under its own weight, right? So you can see how quite strong you can get this. Guys, appreciate all that. Appreciate the likes, you know, but thank you for that. Appropriate to a stock metal size that I would need for this. So I'm going to go with 1/4 inch cuts, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm just gluing it up right now. glue stuck to my shirt. There we go. So there's where this hole is going to be. Actually, it's going to be over here. And now I will glue in some other pieces. Just like before, I'm repeating the same process, cutting and gluing the popsicle stick sections into place as if they were little metal beams, welding them with super glue, if you will, creating a cross member support to split the section that's going to have a opening in it off by itself, and then adding some more supports. And this is surprisingly strong when it's done. I'm always impressed by popsicle sticks and super glue. They're actually very, very sturdy, and you don't have to get crazy with soldering or styrene, and these are very easily accessible materials to anybody. I love using them. Let's see. Look at that. Look at that. Look how sturdy that is. See, as you glue things together, it becomes sturdier and sturdy, and it's also very light, so that's always a plus. When you have something that's very sturdy, it's also very light. I would encourage you guys to go search fire escapes on Google and hit the images and just look at them, right? Because you'll start to see all different shapes and ideas for how they're laid out, where you can apply the techniques I just went over here to your own personal style. Because I never want to do this stuff and have people directly copy every single thing I do. And I know some people do, and that can be how you learn, and that's fine too. But I would prefer it if you took these techniques and if you do an exact copy once, but use it to learn how to do your own style, develop your own version of this using these ideas, all right? That would be my hope for you, so that we're not all making Euler's Workshop fire escapes. We're all making our own version. I'm just showing you the process by which you can take popsicle sticks, cardboard, and super glue and make something beautiful. And this, you can see this fire escape is just sitting in the wall. So that's why we build that extra piece sticking out, and we cut holes in the wall so we can glue it right into the wall. Just like that. Yo, I'm here in the workshop editing the video that you are currently watching. I just wanted to show you where the fire escape is at here in the process at the time that I'm editing this. So I just finished doing the live stream where we started painting the masonry, which still isn't finished, but it's got a nice base coat on it. When this is the window dressing that I shared with my channel members in the community tab for members only as I did it. But this is the final color that I chose for my fire escape. This is the one that we built live. I added a couple little corner details in there. You can still see some of the wood grain is coming through, but as I weather it up and grime it up, it should kind of make that stuff less visible. I did build the ladder using the same basic techniques, which I haven't decided exactly how I want to attach that yet, at an angle or straight. We'll figure that out. Here's some of the stonework we did live too on OWArt live number 40 and 40.5. If you want to see how we faux painted the stonework onto the foam. It's just paint on foam. So anyways, that's where it's at. I hope you guys like this video. Please hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you have watched several of my videos and haven't done that yet. I would appreciate it. It makes me look good in the algorithm. And I hope none of you ever have to use a life-size one of these, and I hope none of you ever have to use a miniature one of these either, I guess. None of you are this small, correct?